What is going on, guys? This is your boy Tanveer Syed. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons. I'm here to give you my thoughts on the final episode of, I believe, Small Axe Season 1. Here in the United States, available through Amazon Prime Video. And this one was called Education. It was also another one, I think, directed by Steve McQueen. Okay, now I don't know if this is based off a real story or not. But apparently it's something that took place maybe in the 70s, not 80s, in the 70s, because it in one part of the episode they mentioned Margaret Thatcher becoming the Secretary of State. So perhaps 70s. Yeah, but once again revolves around the Caribbean community in London, or the London area, surrounding the London area, and also about racism and whatnot. But this one specifically puts a bit more emphasis on people with No, it doesn't put emphasis on people with disabilities. It puts emphasis on the disability, or the disability system being weaponized against the black community. Like, I keep wanting to say African American, but then I have to stop myself because they're not American. They're British, so. Like, whilst I was in the UK, first of all, I met very few British black people. Okay, I met black people, but they're like African. They're from Nigeria, they're from Ghana, they're from Uganda, they're from South Africa. I even made music with the person from Uganda and South Africa. So I never really got what the actual terminology is. I don't know even if they have one. But okay, let's just say the British black community. Okay, so it was an episode about how the disability system is being weaponized to keep down the British black children in terms of educational achievements and whatnot. And there was this leak about the Dalton report or something like that. And I just briefly tried looking up the Dalton report leak on YouTube. Did not find anything. So I don't know what that is. But yes, it was an informative episode. It was an informative episode, and this is me personally, because I'm a person with disabilities, I'm legally blind. So I've run the gauntlet. Pretty much up until a doctoral degree level. Of studying as a legally blind person. Obviously, they were in multiple disciplines. One of them, up until a master's level, was in biomedical sciences, and then after that, a second master's and the doctoral level is in education. But yes, I've run the gauntlet in this, starting with a system that did not actually provide any type of support. So I was sort of expecting an episode that will focus on the black community, the British black community with actual disabilities, not just a hypothetical disability. Because here, what it turned out to be, all of these, that one kid, he was a bit hyperactive and whatnot, and he couldn't read. So the but it showed that what's his name, Kingsley Smith. Yeah, it showed that he still can function pretty well and whatnot. Compared to the other contemporary students he had in his class. And I'm not sure what condition this is where the child will make animal noises. Because there's one kid that kept making animal noises in the special education classroom. So I'm not too sure of that, if there's such a condition like that, or is that like one of those Bollywood type of movies where they will, they actually exaggerate what a mad person in a psychiatric hospital would actually do, or would actually behave. So yeah, so it's just a story showing that the education system overall failed the kid. The education system overall did not work out for the kid, because at the end it showed that the kid actually, it took some time. You don't go from 0 to 100 in one step. It took some time for the kid to learn how to read. So yeah, that was the good part about the episode. The bad part where I was personally disappointed. Excuse me. And yes, these are unedited videos. I'm like, because I do YouTube pretty much somewhat of a hobby. Unlike most of these other channels, who put too much more efforts into their production and whatnot. This is more like a vlogging. Sometimes I do put more efforts into some videos. So yeah. I would appreciate some some new subscribers, but if I don't, whatever, I'm not gonna be too bummed out about it. But yeah, it'd be nice to at least have more subscribers. But as I was saying, the negative point about this was that I thought we'd finally get an episode where they will actually talk about the education system and how ineffective the education system for students with disabilities is actually. Because I've lived in England for 5.5 years, and I've been around people with disabilities, and something tells me there's and I'm not talking just just having a broken foot or something. I'm talking about perceptual disabilities and cognitive disabilities that actually affect your ability to learn, to acquire information and to learn. So let's say someone like me, okay, I'm legally blind, so I would consider that a perceptual disability because I cannot perceive what to learn. So that in a way, maybe it doesn't directly affect my learning capacity, but it affects the amount that I can that I can learn at a fixed given time compared to someone else without this amount of disability, under normal conditions. Obviously, I had to work much harder to develop faster learning and whatnot. But so that's a perceptual disability, and a cognitive disability is obviously if you have conditions, let's say perhaps on the autistic scale, or perhaps a bit of a dyslexia or whatnot. So that also directly affects your ability to learn efficiently compared to the established norm. So I would have liked to have seen a focus on the educational system, on people with the perceptual and cognitive disabilities, and how inefficient it is and how it can be improved and whatnot. Because in this world, the 2020, we're going to 2021, everyone is talking about all these other topics, like and a lot of them can be even disputed. Like they're so neck and neck, they can be disputed. The 77 cents to a dollar topic, then these other lives mattering topic, like everyone's lives matter, and this lives matter, and that lives matter. Like as a person with disabilities, I'm like, yeah, but no one's talking about us, so our lives don't matter. And yes, as a person with with disabilities, looking at the landscape around for other people with disabilities, looking at the horrible statistics, yes, it infuriates me. It really does. And that was the part I was actually disappointed in this episode. Because when it started off education, and then it started off with the black kid, I'm like, okay, it's going to be another episode about how the racial stereotyping keeps the black kid down, because the black kid doesn't have to is being cheated out of an education. But then I'm like, wait a minute, the black kid got two sisters, or like a sister and a brother, got a sister. That sister is also black, and she's elder, and she's doing much better. Then when the focus shifted to people with disabilities, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, are they finally going to talk about it? Is someone finally going to talk about people with disabilities and the enormous amount of struggles we go through? It's to a point where some statistics are more than 3 times worse than the Great Depression of 1928-1929. Okay, it is that bad. Sometimes even, in some cases, even 4 times worse. It is really that bad. And I'm like in a topic, in a chapter called education, are you finally going to talk about it? Are you finally going to talk about it? And then once the episode concluded, no. Because I thought the episode is going to be that special education is needed. Okay? Special education is needed, but people who go through the special education system, they are not to be looked down upon. They're not to be condescended. Like, they can also achieve very big things. I thought it's going to be something like that. But it was about special education existing as a system to keep the black youth down, to keep the troublesome black youth down, as an excuse to remove some of the black youth from from their classroom. So the special education system, the status still remains as a dump for unwanted and unteachable children. And that's what it was shown, with the lack of teachers and whatnot, in the classroom. That was shown. So yeah, from that point, I was actually quite disappointed. But overall, I would give this a 6 out of 10, because if you're not a disabled person, and I'm talking about a disabled person from birth with a perceptual disabilities, not just you have a broken finger, so somehow you think you're the same as a person who's quadriplegic. No, that's absolutely not how it works. That's like comparing a person who forgot to bring his lunch to someone who can't even find food to eat. Okay, so that being said, I will say this once more: Steve McQueen cannot direct, because he doesn't know how to use mood music. and he doesn't know how to use proper camera angles. Okay, and he doesn't even know how to use the proper zoom levels, because some of the shots they're zoomed so close, and some of the shots they're not zoomed at all. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? That small part of the screen on the very left, that's the focus of attention? And listen, it's not like the BBC doesn't have money. I mean, good lord, did you see that atrocious Doctor Who? The one with the arachnids in the UK and the prune juice powered a teleporter or whatnot? Yeah, that made in the BBC, I think. Dragon's Den. Dragon's Den has better production quality than this. Okay? And I watched Dragon's Den. Like, albeit on YouTube, because they post their clips on YouTube, but still, I watch YouTube clips of Dragon's Den, and at least they have a better working camera than whatever Steve McQueen is given. And Dragon's Den has been around for many, many years. If Dragon's Den have a better production quality than you, then like either Steve McQueen, you're not getting enough money, which given the BBC, I highly doubt it, because these, like, you know, well, focus is being a bit too much on like, you know, a few particular groups who are being marginalized, and the other groups who are being marginalized are becoming more marginalized. But yeah, so it needs to be a bit more equitable about that. But yeah, either that or Steve McQueen cannot direct. I saw 5 episodes in this season 1. All 5 of them had the same problem. Steve McQueen has no idea about directing, and also, like, you know, like, due to many reasons, it's as if he compiled all these clips all at once, you know, just randomly. A lot of times the compilation of clips seem random. Other than that, small acts, if I were to recommend any episode, it would be episode, actually, you know what? It would be all of them except episode 2. Episode 2 has a pointless existence. It has no reason to exist because it tells no proper story. It's just an interesting night out. That's it. Nobody wants to invest time talking about an interesting night out, especially something that was so over exaggerated, like if you read the previews. But episodes, like the best one I would say is definitely episode 1 and episode 3. Episode 5, could have been the best if it actually or like, I mean, yeah, if it had better directing, and if it had if you had better directing and focused more also on the special educational system, instead of, you know, just being about the special education system being a dump for students that you know, don't make it in the normal school. So, like, you know, the special education system essentially is a dump. Yeah. Instead, if the focus had not been on that, have not been driving that narrative, I would have given this a 9 out of 10, but 6 out of 10. And that's, like, personally, that's me being a little generous. But yeah, so if you have the time, do watch Small Axe season 1. Just skip episode 2 because it serves absolutely zero purpose. Episodes 1, 3, 4, and 5, if you have the time, yes, do watch it. Especially episode 1. Alright, let me know what you thought about the entire season 1 of Small Axe in the comment section below. And as always, hit like, subscribe, and bell notifications. And do also share this video. It's your boy Tanveer Syed signing out, and I'll see you in the next video.